Super, but just whilst you're getting yourself geared up and heading over, just to bring yourself into the picture, what we are looking to develop is the control of your lower body through this crawling pattern that I've put into some of your circuits in the last couple of weeks. All right? Just to be able to get our hands and wrists warm, I want you to just pop yourself down the line. We're going to be working in and around this space here, and I'm going to constrain the drill to mean that it's going to be a bit more biased on the lower body. And we're going to work generally for sets of 60 seconds, but I'm going to introduce some variations on the drills and see how you respond as to how I go with it. Yeah. All right? So just to, first off, to get yourself warm, just pop yourself onto this line here and just work from here to here, just in nice, gentle, as freely moving crawl as you would do without any of the ways that I've been focusing on, just moving yourself to this line, stay facing this way, and then crawl backwards to that line. So from there now, just go backwards, and from there you're just going to work your way back. You can have a little rest at the end point if you want, but I want you to just do 3 reps like this line here, and you have a little rest there if you want to. I want you to move from there to this line and back. This is as much now about just getting your wrists and hands gently exposed to some of the drills. You can play with the height of the hips if you want. You can play with the speed of your movement. Nothing too much in your focus around specific ways of moving to start with. Apart from just feeling the load in your hands into the floor. That is the one thing that I want you to be able to just warm up, get your hands, wrists, knuckles ready for being able to take some load into the floor. By spending some time and gradually increasing the demands onto your wrist, the blood flow will increase there. The little joints in your wrist are going to be all just lightly tuned up to be able to take a little bit more force. Cheers, dude. That's just what the doctor ordered. Try and get a nice flat hand on the floor if we can, to save those thumbs. Super. Okay, shake your hands off. What I'm going to get you to do now is I'm going to introduce the idea of a couple of rules that you are going to not break, and then we're going to work for a period of time. Okay, so if you just come forward, what I want you to do now is I want you to get yourself so that you're in 4 points of contact, so your feet are on the floor and your hands are on the floor. Just come forward just to about here. And in fact, spin yourself around 90 degrees because you'll be able to see the mirror as well, which will give you a nice little side profile. So if you're just in that position there. Super, okay? So what I'm going to do now is, the only rules are that your feet and hands are the only things that can contact the floor when we get started. And if you have to lift a point of contact, it has to go back where it came from. So because the extra rule then is that this stick is like a lightsaber and you can't touch it. Okay, so if I come in through here, okay, you've just burnt and I've just given you some nice nasty scars on your arm. If you need to lift your hand, for example, it goes back where it came from. Okay, so that gives me the opportunity to vary where I ask this question, like a movement question, and for you to respond. And yeah, you have to come back to that, wherever that hand was, so it stops you running out of the room and getting away from the session. Okay, we're going to start off nice and easy, and we're going to work for a 60-second set. And if I don't ask you a movement question, you just stay wherever you want to. And at the moment, you could sit nice and high if you want to. You can bring them up if that's easier. Good for the first set? Yeah. Cool. So you're going to need to be able to see the stick. We're working for 60 seconds, so that if I come in here, beautiful, and then you are going to find a way of popping that hand back onto the floor. Super. That's 20 seconds. Good man. $20 to go. Good. 10 seconds. Starting to breathe. I know it's tough. What are you going to do about that? 3, 2, the scars are building up. 1, whoosh, good answer. And rest. And rest. Feedback, how did that feel?
Hard, yeah. Especially the lower the knees got, it got a lot tougher again.
Right, I've got messages popping up on my phone, which means stopping me seeing my stopwatch, which is doing my head in, but good. That was really nice. You started to develop a bit of a response and an awareness of where I was coming, and you realize, well, hang on, you can ask questions in some really awkward positions here, especially that last one there. And that's what I'm interested now in this next set. Once you've had a minute or so, we're going to go back in, and I want to see you, now you've had a bit of experience with the drill, trying to respond without me touching you. I'm going to still ask different questions, and if you look a bit comfortable, I'll ask harder questions. And there's no correct answer. It's for you to find a way to just not break the rules of moving off the ground that you're on, and being touched by this stick. Okay? If I see that you're really struggling in your upper body, I may push you, but I'm warming you up here, right? So we're building up. Okay? So same rules apply. Second set, 60 seconds. The clock starts now. Super. Good. Good. Ten seconds left. And rest. Good. Have a little rest. Walk around. How's that feeling on the leg?
Yeah, nice. Shoulder was going a bit.
It's tough. Okay. Really nice. I'm starting to increase the speed a little bit into the questions that I'm putting in there. And I'm going to now progress the drill by adding a layer of constraint. Right? And I'm now sort of not telling you what to do, but I'm making your movement options less to target what I want you to figure out to be in a specific body area and a more specific type of response. Right? So now I'm going to add a next level of constraint. You can't move off the piece of floor that you're on. You can't touch my stick. And you're also going to try at all points to keep your knees 1 centimetre off the floor. Okay, so this is going to be where I can really start to push and challenge your stability when we take points of contact away. So if you may need to take a few goes to just reshuffle, reset where you feel strongest, because we're going to be going into taking 1 point of contact off, next point of contact off, next point of contact off. Oh, I find that I need to get my hands a little close to the midline to be able to do that. And we're going to be working round with me challenging points of contact for our sets of time, with this extra challenge now that the knee stays 1 centimetre from the floor, both knees. Okay?
Yeah.
Feel recovered? because what I'm going to ask you to do now is going to be, when I ask you a movement question with this stick, is that you move as little as possible without getting touched by it. Okay. So what that means is, if you just lift your arm right up to the ceiling now, that would have been a correct response, but how local could you move without, how local to the movement question exactly? So I can then start to target the areas of body that you won't want to move. Okay? So we're going to work for 60-second sets, and if I see you're really struggling, I'm not going to ask you a question. Your challenge will be just staying 1 centimetre off the floor. Clock starts now. Super. So there's our point of contact there. So what happens if I challenge that one? Good. Yes. What happens if I challenge that one? Good. Right, that's 25 seconds. Fantastic effort. Move as little as possible. Keep that down. There, yes. Now we're talking. One centimetre. 10 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Boom. And breathe.
Massive swipe at the end.
We're building towards it, but this is hard on the legs. So this is what we're grading towards now, is getting some sets of this. How did that feel?
Yeah, good. Quads, right?
Quads, insane. Yeah. So you can have a good minute, a minute and a half, 2 minutes now, and we're going to do a couple of sets here.
Which car have you got?
Fiesta.
Is the grey one?
Yeah.
Do you want to move it just into the middle? Because they're cutting grass.
There you are. There's your 2 minute set. It's a car move. 2 minute recovery. It's a car move. Shake your legs off whilst you're going. That just means that whilst I'm filming, and we've got streaming going on, we've got dogs barking, just literally means when we watch the video afterwards, you can hear me.
Yeah, that's just like a...
It's just literally, yeah. So I use this when I lecture in uni. Yeah. So, good, right? What we saw there, when I started challenging, taking 1 point of contact away, I'm having to find where I need to be with my hands width.
This hand come up, this knee come up with it.
Yeah.
When this one come up, like I keep hold.
Yeah. So this set now, I want you to learn from the last set, and I'm going to push you hard again, because of course I can back off, but I'm going to be feathering how difficult you're working, but I want you working as hard as you can without breaking this little rule of 1 centimetre off the floor. Okay? Same thing, I want you to move as little as possible. Your clock starts now. Build the tension through the legs. Look at that back left knee, there it is. Good man. 25 seconds. To go. Ten seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. Superb. And breathe. And breathe. Good set. Big learning effect there. Even though it was super tough, especially when I was making you work a lot on this leg. Yeah. You noticed that? But you met the demands of the task and you stayed within the constraints of what it offered with the ground contact and the knee off the floor. Okay? Really, really good stuff. Have a little walk around, have a breathe. I know it's tough. As I said to you, I want to expose you to the lower body strength requirements here that will come into enabling to have that strength through knee flexion, hip stability, that what we're seeing is exposed in that crawling. Okay? We've got another couple of sets of these. If you are able to, as you've got a little bit better each set so far, there's going to be a point where you're going to have a learning effect and you get better versus you're going to get blasted out.
Yeah.
Right? I could challenge and we could do this in 2-point contact.
Yeah.
Doubles the demand again.
Yeah.
Okay? But same thing we're going to do again once you've had a minute and a half. We're going to get back in. I'm making you work for a minute at a time at the moment. And this time, so you're going to get even more feedback if you're tipping off. Okay?
How long would it be, like all like the sensitivity and the soreness, like when you're just sort of kneeling or holding your sort of weight?
How does it feel there now?
Well, it's not as bad as what I thought it would be, but depends. Like if you go back a bit or over a bit.
So when you're kneeling in deeper ranges of flexion?
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be different. So your tolerance for kneeling is months ahead of other people I've worked with, where
Really?
the sensitivity. If you just see Aaron, and he'd happily talk about this. He had I couldn't touch his knee till about 9 months. I could, but it was like a real. He'd be like, oh, it would just be so excruciatingly painful for him.
I wasn't so bad. Like, what did he?
Pain is a funny thing. Pain is a very individual thing. So what we've got here is a big tissue injury.
Yeah.
Pain is actually not directly proportional to extensive tissue injury. You can have instances where you'll have serious tissue injuries, like people get their limb blown off on a battlefield,
Yeah.
and they're at war, and you ask them if they have any pain, and they describe no pain at all. Why?
Because I got no feeling there.
Well, they've got a bigger threat. They might die. So the brain produces an amazing response to be able to say, okay, that tissue damage going on right there now is not the most important thing. What happens then is they get into the hospital and then they do experience excruciating pain. You'll have other instances where you'll have gone out on the piss, show week, you'll go out,
Yeah.
big session, you'll wake up the next day, you'll have a hell of a headache, hangover.
Yeah.
Any tissue damage? Unlikely. You haven't smashed your head, but what you probably have got is you haven't slept well, put loads of alcohol into your system, dehydrated, all of these things, lots of pain. So tissue damage and pain are not always one and the same, which is really interesting. So it's always an individual thing when it comes to the sensitivity that you have.
Yeah.
I would say that where you're at for just over 3 months post-surgery is probably ahead of most people.
Really?
So I would anticipate over the next 2-3 months.
Even though it's still swelled, is that like the swelling sort of still normal?
The swelling you've still got some swelling. That's completely normal when we look at the extent of the surgery that you would have had.
Sort of more, and the keel's gone now. Like that's gone down almost normal, apart from above it, where I think there's that sort of button there.
Yeah.
Which is probably.
And that will.
That's the end of the muscle there as well.
Yeah, that will continue to gradually go down. It won't be something you'll see as an overnight thing. Yeah. This muscle is going to develop. Your connective tissue in and around the knee is going to be responding to the forces that you're doing in getting to loading the knee up at least 3 times a week. Yeah. And the knee will get back to looking, maybe not exactly like your other knee, but it will look almost the same, and the function will be of your knee will be as a response to how much you engage with the rehab process. And up to so far, everything I've seen is that you are incredibly motivated to be able to get back to doing what you need to be able to do. So it's going to happen. So I'm not pinning myself to a specific, I reckon this will take 3 weeks. It'll take as long as it takes. What I'm interested in is this progressive function and your reported response to be able to gauge how I pitch what we're doing. Okay? You've just been very clever. I've done these tactics as well in getting an extra 5 minutes rest. So we're going to now go for a 90-second set. Okay? If you need to break and drop down, completely fine, right? I'm going to push you. But the same rules apply. Pop that on. So now you've got to tune in to be able to keep that in place. Your clock, your set starts now. Clock's on. If you lose it, yep, you need to get yourself in a position where you can get purchase on the floor. There it is, right? So feeling where that is there now. Let's just see. Beautiful. Always past test 1. Doesn't like it when we have to take off one of off the shoulder. Keep it in that position there. Arch the back a little more so that you can sit it in that spot. Don't break the rules of that knee. Yes. Superb. Okay, 30 seconds to go. Gather yourself. Fifteen seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. Good. Really, really big step up in intensity, taking and focusing on that ball being there. But that is a dramatic improvement. Right? What we got? Time-wise. 10:14.
Feels like I'm getting a bit more stretch. Like I said to you before, when that couch stretch felt tight. It is. Like I know it's just on the floor when I sat there before. I just sort of trying to bend. I can get a lot more room. Or I can go further before I get the pain.
Yeah. No, I'm really happy, but I do want to push you a little bit more here.
Yeah.
Right? I want to get another set now. Let's go for 90 seconds. I want you to strive. We're going to work together, which means I'm not going to try and break you, but I want to push you to get the hardest 90-second set of this task without the ball going off. Which means I probably won't ask you that many questions, because just holding that position for you for 90 seconds is hard.
Yeah.
And if I just chuck in the odd challenge of 3-point, that is going to be the goal I want to set you here now. Let's not make it so that it's impossible. Let's say less than 2 drops, but strive for none.
Yeah.
Okay, you've had 2 minutes of rest there. Pop the ball in. We're going to see if we can get a 90-second set. 3, 2, 1. Clock is on. Super. If I don't come in, then you stay there and you're just eating up seconds. I want to see you looking strong. I want to see you looking strong, even if I take 1 point away. Beautiful, yeah, you didn't even lift the whole hand because I didn't ask you to. There's your 1. There's your 1, right? You've got a minute to try and fight 4. Fantastic. Don't let them knees drift up. Yes. "30 seconds, okay? I can see you're working hard. Yeah, stay there, don't lose the ball if you need to get yourself the respite that you need. As soon as you're able to get back in.
Shoulders, isn't it?
Yep, shoulders are going to be, so I'm just been making you do single arm. There's 15 seconds left. Don't lose that ball now you're tired. Do not lose that ball. Yes, big press through the foot. 10 seconds. Fighting for it. 3, 2, 1. Good man. Fantastic effort. Tough set. Really, really tough set. But that was a big, big improvement on your ability to be able to dig in but maintain quality. It's a big compromise that most people will throw movement quality and technique out the window when they get tired. Probably not really that much of a surprise that our injury risk when we get tired goes up as well. So really, really good set that there. And I would hope that this focus here is something that, again, when you build the sessions away from me, you can plug these things in. I think that this could, what I'm about to take you to now, is going to be a little bit of a closed chain alternative to leg press and quad extent and the leg extension. So I'm going to show you how you could do that with this drill. Okay, and then I would hope that it would be something that we could start bringing in when we're seeing the crawling sets to developing your strength and capacity through there. But what we're going to try and do now is we're going to do some leg press sets with some of the constraints that we've looked at so far. You're going to get yourself into a position where you are hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and then from there, the knees are going to be pivoting around this 1 centimeter point off the floor. From there then, I'm going to come down without breaking that rule of my knees 1 centimeter off the floor to here, and then I'm going to come back to here. Going to be slow reps because we're also going to apply what we've been doing elsewhere with the tempo. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. And you're going to go to the range that your knee flexion allows. And we're going to see how that goes for a few sets. I can make that a lot harder. Okay, I can take you a little bit further away so that from here, now the knees are passed underneath the hips, which means that we have further to go. Very tough. Quality doesn't break. Learn to really grind through when it comes on hard. Okay? First set, which you're going to be having a feel. We're going to do 3 work sets in 2 legs. If you do 20 reps, we'll go to single leg. Got a feeling that won't happen. Prove me wrong.
Is it aim for 20 then, yeah?
If you're getting 20 plus reps, then I'm going to make it harder.
Yeah.
Your aim is to get don't break the rules, to keep everything clean. And then just like we just did in your 90-second sets then, you had to rest. Yeah. You simply had to, you couldn't hold it, right? So we're going to do that, and we're going to apply a 3-0-3-0 tempo. But firstly, let's see how you go with the movement. Are they getting sore? So if it becomes that you can't tolerate that, then we will move on, because this is a new load on the wrist. But actually, a lot of this now is going to be on your legs as opposed to your wrists. Okay?
Is that about straight on the hips?
Yeah, that's nice and straight under. So your knees are underneath your hips there. You're going to need your toes nice and screwed into the floor, because it's going to need a lot of purchase from here. So once you get to your position now of getting into our work sets, you're going to go from here, you're going to keep this to this point on the floor, you're going to go as deep as you're able to, and then you're going to come back to there, okay? Down for 3, 2, 1, 0, up for 3, 2, 1, 0, down for 3, so smooth out through the range, 0, 3, 2, 1, 0, and rest. Huh?
Yeah.
Where did that come on? Quads. Boom. So you just did 3 reps. That's why I said I didn't think you'd be hitting 20, because especially with a 3-0-3-0 tempo.
Like,
Right.
I think now like the weight is on, I can't get the range as if I was just sort of like sit back like this now.
Yeah.
But when I put the weight on, I won't be able to get that deep for sure.
So this is where we start looking at the difference between our passive range, this is what we're talking about with our knee extension, and our active range. But what I really like about getting to the point of doing this with you is you're realizing, oh fucking hell, we can do reps. We can do an exercise in the sort of 3 to 5 rep range, strength-wise, that doesn't need to be in the gym.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's something that is quite difficult to find a strength exercise without, particularly for the legs, without needing a lot of extra weight. Okay, so give yourself a couple of minutes here now, because that was a tough set. We're going to do 3 more sets. Okay, so we're going to call that was a spotting set.
Yeah.
I liked your form. I'm going to watch the next one from the other side so I can see that see your right leg.
Yeah.
And you're going to do everything that you just did, and you're going to see how many reps you can do. What I've actually wrote on the programming is at 8, which means I want you to go to within 2 from failure. So I don't want you to go to failure, but your best attempt.
If I just sort of like
2 from there.
collapse, but I know I got another 1 or 2 in me.
Then we'll just call it a learning effect. We'll just call it a learning effect. It's not the end of the world. It's just the idea of learning intensity prescription is something that needs to start somewhere. So it's not about perfection. Don't let perfection be the enemy of good. It's just getting used to this idea, the different exercises. All right?
You know, like people who don't do like physio and stuff.
Yeah.
Will they ever sort of get better then, or?
People will get better to the human body, and this is what gives me confidence as a coach and as a person, is the human body will always adapt. So it'll find a way, and people will find a way. But our body will find the easier way. So what will happen is we will develop compensations on this leg. But David Rampley, for example, his Achilles is now gone, and the tissues underneath it is gone. So what we're left with is a situation of, okay, we have to just find a way for the other and the rest of your body to adapt to make up for it.
So he has got nothing.
Nothing there. And he's got back now to top 5 in UK strongman with those compensations. He doesn't move as it did before, but this is how the Paralympics and all these things, they're demonstrations of how the human body can adapt. But what targeted, structured rehab that I'm able to take you through, or someone who goes through that, is to the fact that you've had repairs. Now is to grade the loading up through those repairs to cause a specific adaptation for it to adapt and get stronger, and then grade it back up to full function and return. And that's obviously the goal of this process. Okay, so set 2, you're in charge of quality. I haven't got the ball on you, I haven't got the stick on you, but those drills I want you to carry into this now when you're going 3 seconds as deep as you can, change, 3 seconds back to the start position, which will get tough on the shoulders, get tough everywhere, but you're going to go to a fairly tough set, because you're going to go to a couple of reps from failure. I'll give you a metronome. 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0, 3, 2. Good man. 1, 0, 3, 2, 1, 0, 3, 2, 1, 0. Good. Now it's getting tough. How many can you dig out in this form? Now the burn is coming on. And rest. How many was that? Good man. A couple of minutes and we'll go again. So I'm drawing upon all of my understanding of the best available evidence and the coaching literature that I've been through to try and expose your body in a way to optimize the chance of you getting back to not knowing the difference between your knees.
Yeah.
And much like when our discussion there, when you asked about the sensitivity of pain, I could pull up all the ACL literature, all the knee reconstruction literature, and we could look at it. But actually a big part of is the art of the rehab process of how a healthcare professional puts that together.
Yeah.
And so there's so many different ways that you would respond that even if we look at the best evidence of an ACL rehab program, well, this doesn't seem to be working for Rhys for a number of reasons. It's swelling the knee. Rhys isn't engaging with it. He's not doing it. Oh, well, that's no good then. I need to change it.
Yeah.
And that's always going to be an individual response. And that's why the way that I work is to work in a way that is program-based only. Because you could come to me as a drop-in session and I pitch what I think is a good idea and it's like, well, that didn't work.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I haven't got a chance to change it now. I'm not seeing him again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, you've got another minute or so because I want you to be able to dig in for this set and get another really, really good high intensity set just like that. Have you watched that deadlift pointers? Anything surprising or new in there? Probably all seem like common sense, but
Yeah, like from what I was getting, like technique-wise, like obviously I wasn't rolling the bar or anything before, but like I wasn't dragging it up my shins either, if that makes sense.
so those 5 points, again, may seem like lip service, but I guarantee you the amount of people I teach and work with, one of those steps is missing, and then they're training at maximum weights, and then they're trying to correct it at that point. Way, 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 way better to get it, the foundations of what you're doing right, and then now after this session today, get those in place and just slowly nudge the weight up, which means that by the end of the summer, we should safely see some pretty good weights on the bar.
Yeah.
But it's not the other way around, getting good weights on the bar and then figuring out the things that are going wrong because we haven't put the foundations in.
Yeah.
Okay, final set. Let's have a look at it. This is going to be a 2-leg quad leg press, 3-0-3-0 tempo. You've had 3 reps and 4 reps in your last 2 sets. And we're in. 2, 1, 0, 3, 2, 1, 0, 3. So keep that light contact on my little finger. 0, 3, 2, 1, 0. Good work. Now the pump's coming on. 3, 2, 1, 0, 3, 2, 1, 0, 3. Good man. 2. Here it goes. You got one more. 3, 2, 1. Dig in. 3, 2, 1, 0. Good man. How many was that? 5 reps. Good man. So this is something now, I've spent a bit of time going into this. This would be something that we could chuck in, or you could chuck in when you're playing with these sessions, and program it just the same way that we'd be doing those in there. But what I actually love about it, one of the limitations of this is it takes a session like this to get you to understand how to do it. Yeah. But then it has the added benefits of it does require a bit more of a whole body, a learning, your nervous system adapting than just what the benefit of that machine is. I can really target with a leg extension the load into the patella.
Yeah.
This is much more stability of the whole knee through a very isolated single, well, it's just double leg movement at the moment. But a nice idea for you to be able to be is thinking about having it doing that one leg. You can have a little feel of doing it on your good leg. I quite often like doing this just to set and build the motivation for it.
Try and hold it in the air, is it?
No, so just get yourself into position, just like you did there for that set. Get this position, then pick your leg, just take the foot off the floor. From there then, everything stays the same. Pick up your rehab foot, boom.
Fuck yes.
Feel the difference there?
In the hamstring, yeah.
Big step up in intensity. So from there, can we sit that bum onto the heel? And you've just done some tough work sets before having a go at this. But it's nice to have a little feel because it would be, maybe we could set a goal of
A lot more stability work to it.
big stability work. So maybe we set a goal of being able to get 10 to 12 reps on the two leg. Then we should be able to have a look at coming back to that again.
Yeah.
All right? Good man. What I want to do is, how are you for time? You good for time? I want to give you a few minutes to just go and jot in your notepad some stuff we just done there. Yeah. I'll let you copy my. Right? Do you want to see my notes about how I describe those drills?
Yeah.
Because then you can have some idea. So have a little look at this. So pop yourself down. Crawl difficult, especially with the ball on the back. So we did some static sets, avoiding the stick on all fours, building up to you moving as little as possible.
Yeah.
Build drill to constraining the knees to stay 1 centimetre from the floor, 3-point contact, rotating all the limbs. You felt how hard that was for 60-second sets. 4-point crawl squats to range with knees 1 centimetre, 3 out, 3 0, 3 0, 2 at 8 for 3 sets. You did 3 reps, 4 reps, 5 reps. And then you had a little play with one leg. Yeah. So anything, I'm going to give you a few minutes just to recover there, to just jot down anything that's going to be helpful for you from that. Yeah. To then be able to write down that drill that we got to, where you did 3, 4, 5.